Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Universal Fragrances here with a top 5 most masculine fragrances from the house of Bond number 9. So just remember, when I'm making this video, this is not, necessarily my top 5 from the house of Bond number 9 or what I think are the 5 best fragrances. I'm just ranking them according to how masculine they are. Would a woman want to wear these? Are there any kind of unisex vibes to them? So I'm just ranking them, strictly in terms of how masculine the vibe is on these fragrances. There's a lot of good ones I left out. Shea Bond, Bleecker Street were in my other video. Grape Jones, which is a little bit harder to find nowadays, except for I do think that is still available on Bond number 9's website. There's just a ton of stuff that could go on this list, but these are my personal 5 favorite masculine fragrances from the house of Bond number 9 at the moment. So let's get it started. Now, Dubai Gold, one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection, not just of Bond 9, but of all the fragrances I own. Dubai Gold, very special fragrance. It's got like a raspberry jam note, bitter orange, ginger, saffron, beautifully done brandy, cognac accord sort of vibe to it at the top notes. Couple wood notes. I think it's got like 3 or 4 wood notes, so it's a very woody, spicy, boozy fragrance. Not overly boozy though. And what sets this apart is the patchouli and the musk in the base. Very heavy, very well blended, extremely luxurious smelling. I mean, I just can't say enough good things about this fragrance. Dubai Gold has always been one of my favorites from the house since I bought it. It's very hard for me to unseat, some of the classic fragrances like Riverside Drive, Novu Bowery, even New Harlem. Even, of course, that one's not on this list because that is, very unisex. A lot of women like that one, but that just lets you know how much I love Dubai Gold. So Wall Street, number 4. Now Wall Street is very green, marine. Oh man. In fact, I'll put this at number 3 and then we'll do Riverside Drive after, because I do think Wall Street may be actually even more masculine than Riverside Drive. This is just a really, really good fragrance. A lot of sea kale, vetiver, ambergris, like a very stormy sea on a rough day. And this is just one of those fragrances you either love or hate. I personally love it. Riverside Drive will actually go number 4, Wall Street number 3. Riverside Drive, one of my all-time favorites. As you can see, this is the old bottle, the original batch. Just like Wall Street, I do have the newer bottle of this. Very similar. I won't get into all the differences. I'll save that for a different video. But the pineapple, rose, lily, basil, the oak moss and patchouli notes really set this apart, really make it very masculine. Just a very proper smelling, almost classic kind of modern take on a classic men's fragrance. Kind of similar to Novu Bowery, where it reminds you of something that is a little bit retro, but it's kind of been modernized a little bit. And man, I just can't get enough of Riverside Drive. It's one of the few bottles in my collection that I have a backup bottle of. I bought the new batch when it came out like a year ago. This bottle here is almost 20 years old. And as you can see, I was saving it because I wasn't sure if they would ever bring it back. I saw it had been discontinued for quite some time. So every once in a while, I'll spray this old one and wear it, usually on days that I wear the other Riverside Drive, just to compare them, see how this one's aging. It's just a kind of a fun thing to do. And sometimes I will wear this one kind of by itself as well for special occasions. But since I bought the new one, I've just kind of been letting it rest a little bit. So number 2 here. Now remember, we switched Wall Street and Riverside Drive. So number 2, Silver Factory, one of the best incense and wood fragrances, not just from Bond number 9, but from any company. Beautiful note to it, sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's like a natural wood sweetness. Of course, lots of incense and wood resins. The fragrance has more to it than that, but that's really just the vibe that you get, is like a very nice, rich wood notes, wood resins, sweet incense, not overly smoky, but slightly smoky. It's just very unique and dark and mysterious. And if you don't want to pay the money for the Silver Factory, since it has been discontinued and it's an Andy Warhol product, you can buy Bond number 9 Silver, which is the exact same formula. It just doesn't use the Andy Warhol name, image, and likeness. So that's going to cut the price down. But if you like the fragrance itself and you're not really worried about the collectability of it, I did have a subscriber say that he recently just picked up Bond number 9 Silver for around the $300 mark. This one, because it is the Andy Warhol one, was almost double that price, but it was worth it to me. It's kind of like a wearable collectible item, and I had been looking for it for quite some time from a legitimate seller for a decent price. And I was able to get a good price on this. Of course, the bottle came with the full packaging and everything like that. So I couldn't be any happier. I was finally able to get that purchased. I had a couple samples. I said this in one of my older videos. I had a bunch of samples of this. Didn't love it when I first tried the samples, and it grew on me as my nose and experience grew. And then I wasn't really paying attention. And by the time I ran out of the samples, I think I had like one left. And then I found out it was discontinued. I was like, oh man, I really should have bought a bottle of that. But I was in college at the time. I probably couldn't have even afforded it. It wasn't something, it was one of the more expensive Bond number 9 fragrances at the time. And I think when it went out of stock, I only had like 10 or 11 Bond number 9s at that point, and a couple other niche and luxury fragrances like Creed and other things of that sort. So it was quite some time ago, but everything has a way of working out. So I'm very happy I got this, and it is definitely a manly, masculine fragrance, not something that women would want to wear. And if I believe I'm correct, Novu Bowery was also number 1 in my other top 5 most masculine video for Bond number 9. So it just kind of lets you know how things change a little bit. You see the lineup change, and then the number 1 spot for me is still the same. I don't know if anything can unseat this. Great Jones is another really good one that has a similar vibe to this, but it's just more soapy. This is a better fragrance than Great Jones, at least for me on my skin and in my opinion, even though I do like them both. But Novu Bowery, very citrus and herbal. It's got lime, thyme, Italian mandarin, basil, violet wood, oak moss, patchouli, maybe some other wood notes that I'm missing, but that's pretty much it. It is just an extremely strong, very long lasting. The citrus notes and the herbal notes last longer than you would expect for a fragrance of that nature. And also the base notes, of course, with the patchouli and the oak moss, you get that very nice green, herbal, slightly sweet accord. And man, I just can't say enough good things about Novu Bowery. I had a subscriber comment a little while ago, thanking me for turning him on to that. It's one of his favorites from the house. Just a very natural smelling, retro but modern take on like a retro type of fragrance. I said this again in another one of my videos, but I think it was Father's Day last year or 2 years ago. I bought this for my dad. Of course, I own so many fragrances, I'm not really worried about us wearing it on the same day. But he said it reminded him of a lot of the fragrances that his dad used to wear during the 50s and 60s. So for me, that just kind of solidifies that this is definitely, just kind of like a modern type of take on a very retro style men's fragrance, very heavy on the oak moss, herbal and citrus notes, and wood notes as well. Absolutely beautiful for spring or summer. You can wear it as an invigorating or energizing fragrance during the winter time if you want, but really I just save that for spring or summer because the notes really seem to go well, just like Riverside Drive and Wall Street. They just really seem to go well in the high heat situation. So guys, appreciate you watching. One of my favorite things to do is kind of create videos like this, give people an idea of what the vibe of the fragrances are like. Maybe some of them you kind of gravitate towards more than others based on the notes. But even with as much experience as I have, looking at the notes, it only gives you part of the story. You never really know how those notes are going to be blended. And it's really nice to get your nose on some of these fragrances. Even if you don't buy full bottles like me, maybe some of them are worth samples for you. So appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps the channel out. We're approaching 2,000 subscribers. Got a lot more stuff coming for the channel, so I really hope to see you guys soon. Got a lot of interesting videos and a lot of things that I've purchased over the last couple months. Again, I've been so busy. I purchased more stuff than I've been able to film videos, so I have a lot of content coming for the channel, so I can't wait for it. See y'all soon. Bye.